Hello everybody, welcome to TraderMerlin Show for your Tuesday edition. We had a slight change of plans. Unfortunately, Sam Evans is supposed to be our guest today, but his son was not feeling well, so he won't be making it. We'll reschedule Sam here for some time, hopefully in the next coming weeks. The good news for you all is, all of a sudden, I got off my lazy butt and started reaching out to different traders and said, hey, I'd like to get you on the show. And I'm starting to fill out the next couple weeks. They're going to be fairly packed with a whole bunch of old guests, a bunch of new guests, and hopefully all with the intent of helping you understand markets better, learn something new, and just be part of a free community out here where you get to talk about trading, markets, and investing. Well, today is the 12th of April, so we are about 30% of the way through the year, and it's been a wild one. You guys saw some pretty big swings out there today, which we will talk about. But the main focus for today's show, I believe it was a question from Gallo, who is one of our regulars that watches the show. So Gallo, if you're here, welcome, and thanks for the question. And it was really finding a mentor, and I definitely want to touch on this one because I reference that I have I've had mentors in the past, and I want to explain what that was, how I found those, etc. And we'll do that through today's show. Yes, Thomasina, I'm bummed as well. It's been so long since we've had him on. He's had a lot of ups and downs recently, so we will get Mr. Evans on the program again to be sure. It's not like he's avoiding me, just busy and life comes up. So, and again, none of my guests, not one, has ever been paid to be on this show. So I guess them volunteering an hour of their time, I have to be gracious with that as well. So, all right, let's start off with our markets and then we'll get to the mentor piece. A nice abrupt about face. I'll start at the top and work our way down. Crude oil, we talked about it kind of coming into a current base, and there's even one even lower down around that 88 to 91 mark. Well, today, nice big spike up, tune of about 7% gain on crude oil. So anybody who's buying that base down there did very well on today's session. And then that's pretty much it. You look at some of the commodities, they did well. I am very happy about my silver. It's up above my strike price, so we'll see if I get executed. But gold today up 1.11% to 1969. It was a good year from what I remember. Of course, I wasn't around in 1969. My father was traveling through Germany at the time, and here I am. All right, I'm going to look at SLV real quick just so you guys, I'll keep you updated on my saga. So as you know, I sold the May, so unfortunately I still got another month, but I got the May 20th, 2350 calls I sold on silver, and that's back when it was down around 2240, 2250. So my silver will probably be taken away from me, and anything above that 2350 mark is just profit I will not see. So I hope that it ends up closing like it did last time, which is right at 2348 is what it did last time. We'll see how it all pans out going forward, but that's silver. Silver is up 1.38% on the day. Oh, cool. Good to have you here, Karen. Yeah, definitely. It's a good one for everybody, I think. I believe there's a huge misconception when it comes to mentors, and I know you guys don't like it when I swear and curse. I apologize, but there are some shady, slimy, sleazy scumbags out there that portray themselves as elite traders and boast about how much money they're making, and they're the scourge of the earth, scumbags that I wish would just disappear. I wish regulators could come in and just absolutely crush these people for being charlatans, scumbags that are trying to steal your money. That said, we'll get to mentors here in just a little bit. Let me finish with my top seven. So we're on gold there, up 1.13. The only index that was up was a Russell, and fortunately it actually held because it was up huge on the day, but gave back most of those gains. You see this gigantic topping tail. That's not a good sign, all right? I know a lot of people have been asking about different candlestick formations. Eurovision, that was a fun one. I am a Eurovision baby. You look at this huge sell-off that happened here on the Russell 2000. It's been really aggressive. You've had probably, it was 5 days in a row of just nothing but red. And then all of a sudden today you had this huge green candle. That selling pressure is still there, and that's evident by the way that it closed. Yes, it's green. Yes, it was a positive day, but it was up. At one point, we had the Russell. Let's go from yesterday's close. At one point, it was up 2.79%, and we finished only up 0.41. So that's clearly sellers saying, hey, you know what? We'll let this thing rally up, but I'm selling into that pullback, and now I'm going to crush it back down. So this is a pretty negative sign here for the Russell, the way it closed today. And mind you, that's coming on the heels of a pretty elevated inflation report. Thomasina, I think I will always tell you how I really feel, sometimes to a fault. Dow Jones Industrial Average started to tip into the red. You can see a little tiny red candle there, down 0.15% for the Dow futures. What's noteworthy here is it's making lower lows. Now, it's not aggressive, but we are seeing lower lows put in on the Dow, which has been one of the stronger indexes out there. So keep your eye on that one. Who knows, we may actually see this thing start to drift down, maybe get back towards those lows we saw in early March. Keeping on with the S&P 500, another index that had a really big up day, but couldn't hold on to it. It ended up giving back almost all of those gains, ending down 0.33%. 4,000. That's actually the S&P. 4,394 is where we closed at today. Good to see you, Don. Hey, I hear that you want to come on the show again, buddy. We can arrange that. I think next week I'm actually full, and I actually won't be doing a show Monday or Friday. I'll tell the viewers about that, but maybe the week after we'll get you on. Just text me or email me or Skype me or whatever, and we'll get you on the show. All right, so that's S&P. NASDAQ taking it even worse. Really no positive piece in sight other than what happened on today's open, right? We opened up, rallied pretty aggressively, and then just gave it all back because I think those sellers are absolutely in control at this moment in time. My guess is you'll probably be challenging that 13,000 mark on the NASDAQ here sometime soon, much to Don Fran's dismay. Yes, there's no arguing. It's a friendly discussion. Don still thinks we're going to go to all-time highs this year. I'm pretty sure that we are not, but hey, it's all a matter of opinion. Bottom line is Don and I will make trades accordingly, and hopefully at the end of the year, we will both be making money regardless of what we choose. All right, last one on this list was Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies still just can't seem to get their head out of the funk that it's in. That's actually my topic for tonight. For those who are in the CIL, we're talking. I have a whole bear market prep guide for cryptocurrencies because there are some very interesting statistics, facts, and figures that point to a prolonged sell-off in cryptocurrencies. So brace yourselves, folks. We might be in for something much more long-term than what people have anticipated here, which is now all of a sudden, it looks like we're starting to form a base and move up. But if we get below this, you might want to pull out those short guns or start worrying about liquidating some positions here because we could go significantly lower on crypto. All right, that's that. Last piece here is we got the dollar index, which is still ripping. We talked about it going to 100. Not only are we at 100, we've eclipsed it. We are now past that 100 mark. We're at 100.33 on the dollar index. If we look at that longer term picture, you'll notice that there are some small, little tiny areas. Go zoom out here. This top blue line is where we're at right now. You see this little wicks over here. You kind of have levels on top of levels as it was just trying to work its way down, but about 100.8 is the peak in there. You get above 101 and we're going straight to 103 in a very, very short period of time. Keep stretching that yellow box. Let's do that for Tom. Let's get that Russell box out even further. The new one anyway. Well, it's still there. We're still in it, but I'll just do that. Let's see. Just for perspective, we'll put the yellow box even further out to see how we stay in that and maintain that range. All right, and last one, let's talk about bonds. Oh, yes, the bond market again. Here's your 10-year. If you notice the way that the candle formed today, today, technically, if you look at these two candles here, the yesterday and today's, you have an engulfing pattern. You have a candle that completely engulfs the previous day. However, some might argue that yesterday's candle has small little wicks here which don't fit inside the real body. For those that don't know what that is, a real body is simply the colored portion of your candle. And technically, this does not fit inside all the wicks. So if you're a Steve Nissen student, that is not technically a bearish harami, an engulfing pattern, but to me, I'll take it as an engulfing pattern. Here's your 30-year, more of a spinning top really for the 30-year. We'll wait for those things to trend out and maybe start breaking even lower. All right, that's a quick and dirty with regards to markets. We can look a lot deeper as we progress, but I want to make sure I get to this mentor piece, and I'm sure that Don probably has some thoughts on this one as well because Don has done a lot of research with different schools and taken a lot of different classes, so you start to learn about them. But let me start off by bringing up this little finding a trading mentor screen. And the one thing I have to say here before we get going is I think we need to just explain really what a mentor is, because from my experience, it feels like most people believe that you need to go out there and you need to pay a bunch of money to have some mentor. Find some elite guy who's got some trading room and piggyback off what they do. And I don't personally think that that's really what a mentor is. If you look at let's say professional athletes, a mentor isn't the one that goes out there and plays the games for you. A mentor isn't the one that takes the shot on the basketball court or swings the bat on the baseball field. They show you how to do it better. And you can learn a lot by how that individual does it. Now, what's interesting is a lot of time when you have coaches or mentors, when you have a coach or a mentor, quite often these mentors weren't the elite part of the game. So for example, I've seen a lot of batting coaches who, they were decent hitters, maybe batting 280, pretty decent for Major League Baseball. And here they are giving somebody like Mike Trout batting advice on how to swing the bat. You would go, wait a minute, well, Mike Trout's a way better batter than this guy. Or, Russell Wilson has a way better arm than, some other quarterback who never really made it to the big leagues. Bottom line is that person brings the experience. And quite often, you see a lot of people, especially in the trading education business, in my opinion, a lot of the people that I feel are in the education business, they know the rules, they know exactly what they're supposed to do, but a lot of them don't follow those rules and they end up losing money. And that's just the standard thing that happens in financial markets. So don't expect to find a mentor and be just piggybacking off of every trade that they make. The real key to finding a mentor is finding somebody that can work with you through your strengths, through your weaknesses, and figure out how to make the best of what you bring to the table. Because, I don't know, we've only got like 50 people here, but if you have 50 people, all of us, I'll count myself in here, I'm at 51 now, all of us are going to trade differently. We're going to have different approaches. We're going to have different ways we deal with stress. We're going to have different ways we deal with the computers and technology, or different ways we deal with the charts, and some want point and figure charts, and some want stochastics, and some want just line charts. You're all different. So to me, a good mentor is someone who says, I understand that, and let me figure out how I can work with you. So there's a whole other side to how to be a good mentor. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mentee. Yes, exactly. That's a good point. I think that there's two, right? You need to have the person who can convey as the mentor, someone who can teach you and understands how to work with you, because we all have personality types. I've had a few people on this program, not this one, because I refuse to have people I think are scumbags on the program anymore. But there's been people I've interviewed on Power Trading Radio that I did not want to have them on the set, because I knew that their personality and my personality do not match. Plus, I didn't think very highly of those individuals because I knew their background and what they do. But unfortunately, I was told I had to interview these people. With this show, I can interview whoever the hell I want, and of course, I won't bring on scumbags. So, and as Don says, you have to be what did you call it? A mentee. Yeah, I guess how to be the mentee. If you are someone who's looking for help, then you need to understand what questions to ask and not be afraid to ask questions. Of course, you can push that pendulum too far and ask too many questions, and then you start to push your mentor away if you just overwhelm them with stuff. It's like, I think for all of us, at least I'll introspectively look at myself, as I progressed through trading, it was really about saying, what are my problems? And let's list my problems. I know some of you have trading problems. Some of you might not even think you do. Trust me, you all have trading problems. Every single one of us does. Some are more severe than others, but make a list of all the things that bug you. And when you find a mentor or somebody that you resonate with, you can ask those questions and ask them in a polite way and word them in a way so that you know how that person's going to answer it. So for example, if I am, maybe you guys can give me some examples. Let's do that as a mentor-mentoree type thing. Imagine you guys are all mentorees. What is something that you want to ask a mentor, right? And assume I'm your mentor, which in many cases, if you look at it, I kind of am a mentor, right? Because I understand trading. I understand how it works. I know all the flaws that people have and what they do. So I can help you circumvent that. And the reason I bring that up is, how much does this show cost you people? How much is it really costing you? Junk, or Gallo, or Leighton, Nick, Don? This show's costing you guys bupkis, not costing you 1 cent. So I ask you, how expensive does a mentor need to be? Now, let me run through some of the factors I think are important for a mentor, all right? And just real quick, I'll look through these. And then you guys will probably ask some questions and I will go through those. So when I put finding a trading mentor, number one is actually trades. Now, this is probably the most challenging thing that you can find out about a trader, because here's what happens. As you guys know, there's a trader out of Chicago who I despise. I think he's a low-life scumbag. And the FTC lawsuit said specifically that this individual, while making many trades in a six-figure trading account, it says trading a six-figure account, trades very little and has lost $20,000 over the last 2 years. Now, the only way that people would know that is if federal regulators went in, subpoenaed his trading records, and audited those trading records to find out if this individual was actually making money. And lo and behold, he's a loser. So how do you know these things? Unfortunately, this is the hardest one. I mean, I show trades, I'll show trade statements, etc. But the challenge is, what will happen is almost every mentor out there that quote unquote is a mentor will have 3, 4, 5 accounts. So if you ask, are you actually trading? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to bring up the account that's making money. Now, I wasn't referring to Tim Sykes. You know who I'm talking about, Don. Timothy Sykes he's an interesting cat. You know, he makes most of his money from his newsletters and doing penny stock picks for people, right? But, you know, God bless him for trying. I think that he was just a wild, interesting person. The other one out of Chicago, I think, is just a lowlife. You look at what he's done to other people. Is he on a TV channel? No, he's not on a TV channel. He basically has a trading school out there, and he's... Don't get me started. All right, so actually trades is a very tough one, but I think if you watch what they do and analyze what they do, you can tell right away if someone is worth their salt in trading. Like if some guy is telling you, this, dude, I'm loading the boat, I'm all in on AMC at this demand zone, we're coming out $16, I'm all in. I'm using 10-to-1 leverage, I'm buying all in on AMC. This thing is the greatest, it's going to be a huge winner and I'm done. That is somebody you should run away from. You know, you want to look for people, I mean, in some cases, yes, trading these stocks can be great, but for the most part, successful traders don't make their living trading the most volatile crap out there, right? They're not out there juggling chainsaws. They're juggling tennis balls, and they're doing it all day long collecting money. Whereas stuff like this, you know, this is just danger. You look at DWAC, right? This is such a wild card, stupid SPAC company. I hope it goes all the way back down to $10 and all these people lose his money. No, it wasn't Nick. There's people in this room who knows who it is. They know who I'm talking about. He is, it's funny because it's not just his trading, it's just who the person is. Like, what is he as a person? This individual is, bad person. So, you know, you look at somebody and you can hear their talk track. You'll know how they talk. You know, you had Don Franzman on this program before. You can tell by the talk track, by the analysis, that there's consistency in the analysis. There's a methodology behind the analysis. And while I've never seen Don's trading statements, I would suffice to say that Don trades actively. Same thing in my case. Now, I'm not every single day anymore because I have too many things going on, but I always have trades open. I mean, right now I've got about 8 different trades going on, and that's not including the 39 plus crypto positions I have open at any moment in time. So there's always something going on, and I think finding out if somebody actually trades is very difficult. That's going to come from I guess, just analyzing that person's trade. Sue, he was also bad for stealing Joanne. Yeah, that's not the worst of it. If you knew what happened and why all this stuff happened at OTA, it's because of that one individual. Has a sound machine to make noise? No, are you talking Jim Cramer? I actually was just about to put some sound effects in the show to liven it up, make it more fun. But Leighton, you're now scaring me away from it. I don't want to be that comical guy that just says I will never use the word booyah on this program other than that one right there. All right, so number one is they have to actually trade, but it's the hardest one to figure out. It really is. So you have to be careful. If somebody is telling you, oh, I actually trade, blah, 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 blah. All right, you know, what's your recourse? You could ask them to show you trading statements. Now, here's what's so stupid about this. TradeStation used to have it. I'm not sure if they have it anymore, but TradeStation used to have a functionality called Strategy Tester. And you could sit there and you could put in all these different strategies. You want to use moving average crossovers and RSI breakouts, whatever you want, any strategy possible. And what you could do is you would sit there and just keep putting in the system, and trying different time frames. And as you do that, it would say, well, here's what the results would be if you took every trade that was whether, let's say the 10-period moving average crossed the 20. That's your strategy. Every time it crosses above, buy long. And you could run that strategy tester and then keep running it. And it says how much you want to start with. You say $100,000, right? And how long do you want to test it for? 2 years. And it back tests in one click of a button, and it will print out every trade that was made, hypothetically. So what people have done, I've seen this happen with, there was an OTA grad out of Texas. He was starting a Forex company, and all he did was go through the Forex markets, go through the strategy tester and TradeStation, and he claimed he turned $100,000 into $3 million in a year. All he did was just keep tweaking the strategy, and they go, oh, yep, it's giving me the biggest number. Now people will believe that I'm an actual trader. So even if they show you trading statements, I still don't trust them. You know, it's funny. I just did my taxes, and I've got in the trading markets, like stocks and futures, I've got about 6 different accounts now. I've whittled down. But in one of those, I took a loss, right? Okay, fine. The other ones, I made a little bit, and there's a couple I made quite a bit. So, you know, these guys will, like I say, will have 4 or 5 different things, and they'll show you the one that they want. I knew a presenter one time. I got to be careful how I say this one. I knew a presenter who was teaching trading and investing, and what he would do is he would go into his presentations in a simulator, and he'd buy 1,000 shares of Apple long, and then he would short 1,000 shares of Apple in a different simulator account. So what he would do is he would walk into a classroom or a presentation, and he would say, okay, let me see which one's up the most money. So if Apple was, down 20% on the day, he would just say, walk in and say, look, I shorted this. I shorted Apple 1,000 shares. I'm up 20 grand today. See how easy this is, folks? I took this trade last night. It's easy. To me, that's scummy. That's slimy. Unfortunately, that's the front-end salespeople. And a lot of times, salespeople I apologize for salespeople in here, you'll say whatever you can to get that sale. Anyway, let's move on. I could talk about this one forever. Number 2 is documented experience. Now, of course, there's not a trader alive that's going to show you their tax returns, right? That's really none of your business. I mean, my source of income come from all over the place, so it doesn't really make a difference if I show you tax returns or not. But, documented experience. Where have you, even if it's just taken classes, right? Have you taken classes? Well, where have you taken them from? Who have you taken classes from? What assets do you trade? Like, I want to be able to see your pedigree and what you've done. That's one thing I'm happy about my past is I've had all these experiences not only with different trading floors, but international markets, again, teaching for banks and brokerages throughout Europe, which is all documented. Actually, being a university professor while that wasn't actually trading per se, that was probably one of the best experiences in my life. But you need to see some experience. And the reason I bring this up is, I was just talking about this with someone today. There are people out there, and I'll just use Online Trading Academy as an example. There are people out there that will take an Online Trading Academy class, and they go out there and they will go on some social media and make ridiculous claims about how much money they're making. There's dozens of them right now that just steal content and make it sound like they are the greatest traders in the world. And mind you, I have, 4,000 followers on YouTube, and I trade just about every single day in some manner, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. These people have less than 3 months experience. They've got 4 million followers, and they're stealing content, trying to get you to buy some course from them that they probably don't even know how to teach that material. So ask a lot of questions, and you'll find out if some of these people are scammers and scumbags. Yeah, Karen, if you look at, who we're talking about, and if you look at what this individual has done, he's probably the most greedy, self-interested piece of crap on earth. So what he'll do is he'll bring people in, he abuses them, he gets everything he can out of them, and then he just dumps them without any interest in that person's well-being. It's documented through multiple instructors and also business partners that he's scammed as well in the past. I've seen all that fake stuff, including a homemade website of an expert, exact copy of the broker, wow, but fake account. So he would go in and, oh man. And Don, as well as I do, there's always somebody out there who is just praying for some, white knight to come along and help them out and change their trading. Personally, I don't think you need to be paying for that thing. I look at, for example, I'm still with Online Trading Academy. So with OTA, the argument is the education is very expensive. And I would agree, it's definitely an expensive education. But again, what do you get, right? A lot of these things, it's a question of what do you get with your education. There was one guy out there, is it warrior trading? It's just like one dude and you just watch a screen. I want a community. I want support. I want somebody who is easy to get in touch with. And again, no one's going to, well, I can't say no one because I actually do know some people that give out their cell phone. It's not me. I'm not giving out my cell phone. I give out my office phone and got a lot of missed messages. But, they want to be easy to get in touch with. So email is a way to get in touch with people, but some way to contact them directly. And sometimes these guys get so big, they just don't have time. So, while there might be a front man for the education program selling it, you'll probably never get to talk to that person. Augustina says, Sam Seiden was audited by the FTC. And how'd that go, Augustina? You remember the results of that audit? I'd like to know why BW. Those are personal issues. I think, Leighton, you can probably figure out part of it. If you look at both BW and JM, they both started their own schools. So there's a bit of a conflict of interest there, and I think at one point it was like, okay, we got to do what we got to do. But the decision for them to leave was really between them, so you have to ask those guys. I think we're actually going to have Brandon Wendell on the program, not next week, I think in 2 weeks. So ask them then. That's their business, not mine. All right, so easy to get in touch with another one. This one I think is critical. You need to resonate with their personality, right? You need to resonate with their personality, meaning it's got to be somebody to get along with. Now, even if that person might be an amazing trader and qualified for all the things I've mentioned here, they actually trade, or maybe even they're showing live accounts trading. One thing when you watch people trade, look for live versus simulated accounts. You'd be surprised how most people are using simulators, which is fine, but I really think that they should disclose that. This is not an actual trade. This is simulator, right? That's a big piece for me. So did RD. I don't remember all the damn name there. It is, but you know what? One thing that has been very evident over the years is traders are hotheads. Traders are, in many cases, depending on who they are, can have significant egos. And, when you have an organization like OTA, where at one point there was over 150 instructors, a lot of times those personalities, it escalates, and you get some alpha male versus alpha male trader who just don't get along, and some guy just says, well, screw you, I'm doing my own thing. And you get that a lot. There's a lot of turnover as far as instructors go. I'm pretty happy because I think we've got a great stable that has stuck with it, right? Stuck with it. Sure. Yep, Christian, so did BD. You look at, and again, when OTA was forced to shut down, not by choice, but forced to shut down because of the FTC, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the court case, but the FTC there was a court case where the FTC was sued and was brought to the Supreme Court of the United States, which voted 9-0, in favor that the FTC had overstepped its boundaries and used undue force to destroy businesses. Unfortunately, what happened with OTA had already gone on. But basically the FTC was going way beyond their means as far as what they could do. One day, hopefully, there will be a behind-the-scenes look. A lot of stuff, you really can't talk about, but hopefully they will show you what really went on and what caused this. I mean, when you look at the reason that this whole thing came to be, it's unbelievable. It's the most childish, selfish, ridiculous, disgruntled employee thing you will ever see in your life. It's unbelievable. And I hope someday the story comes out in its whole, but we'll just leave it there. So as we go through that mentor piece, there's obviously, I look at who I bring on this program, and almost everybody is selling something, right? They're selling their school, or they're selling their I had Daniel Roberts on the program. He wasn't really selling anything, but what's he doing? He's really promoting himself as I'm from Decrypt, and we're going to have Kate Irwin, who's from Decrypt, on the program tomorrow. It's self-promotion. It's getting your name out there. It's visibility. Some are physically selling products and services. So anytime you get that type of situation, just be careful and think about, what are you buying into? Is there a cost benefit? And I would say whatever claims they're making, cut it in half. Okay, cut it in half, because my guess is those claims are significantly elevated. Bob Dunn just left also from what I heard. Yep. So I don't know if he's officially out, but yeah, Bob, but remember, what's Bob doing? He's got his own school. So, you're talking direct competition. It makes sense why these individuals have left, and it's no bad thing. I like all those guys. You talked about Brandon Wendell and Jeff Manson and Bob Dunn. They're all great people. They're all very alpha personalities. You really want one of the funnest shows you could ever have? Get Bob Dunn and Brandon Wendell on the same show. That will be interesting, but it won't happen. But yeah, people move on, right? They go and do different things. It's kind of like if you look at the financial world right now. If you look at banks and brokerages and investment firms, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all these companies, some of their top brass, these are people who are making heavy six-figure salaries, $500,000 a year salaries, and they're quitting their jobs and leaving and going to do something different. Is it because JP Morgan sucks and they just want out? No. A lot of them are being brought into the crypto world because they just want to change. They see something exciting. So it doesn't, in my opinion, reflect on the company per se. It's just the individual. It's our choice to go and do what we want, to study a new career, profession, do something different. Ads are part of a business, but why do they have to pay to show you they're good? Yep. If you're awesome, you probably heard word of mouth first. Yeah, and it's funny. It's a good point you mentioned that, Donald. And a lot of the real successful ones do have a good word of mouth. But then again, you also get people who are that. Let's take my least favorite trader on the planet, scumbag from Chicago. If you look at him, he has a cult following. Like, these guys are brainwashed that he is an epic, amazing trader because, he was a trader on the floor of the CME. That's not true. He was never a trader on the floor of the CME. He was an order taker. That's like saying, we won't go into the story. But everybody has people who think that they're great. I know some of you think I'm great. There's other people who think I'm a total piece of shit. That's okay. I'm not going to please everybody. It is what it is. So, yeah. I guess word of mouth is a big piece, but when you look at the people who are using that mentor or that service, if you will, and they're having great results, then I think that's the important part. Now, I had some lady email me the other day, was all upset about my videos being on YouTube for OTA. And I was like, I work for OTA. That's their videos. And then she's like, well, they're this big scam, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you know what? There were, from my understanding, there were more people who actually wrote letters specifically to the FTC on behalf of OTA saying, this is amazing. Don't take this away from us. We need this type of support in community and environment and education than any other firm has ever been sent into in a case like this. That should tell you something about a product or service. Yet you had one or two people who started this whole thing. And then, of course, people who were losing money go, well, it's OTA's fault. It's OTA's fault. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate that. It's like the waiter that says, the waiter that went to cook moved up. Thanks, believable. Well, and there's a lot of people that and I'm guilty of it because I'm an OTA grad. I spent a lot of money for my education, and I personally think it was worth every single cent of it. Did I succeed right away? No way. I lost a lot of money at the beginning because I was ignorant. I thought I was better than everybody else. Didn't need to listen to my instructor. And then after you start getting your ass handed to you, you realize, hey, I got to stop doing that. I need to follow some rules and get some structure, get some discipline, and finally move on from there. So the question from Gallo was, about how to be a mentor. I don't want to be anybody's mentor from a monetary perspective, which means I'm not going to take it one-on-one, give you guys my phone number and talk to you and call you all the time. But if you think about it, is this program right now not a mentoring session? To me, that's really what I kind of feel like this is. It's really a mentoring session, and I don't ask anything for it. Occasionally you guys send in some money. That's great. I appreciate it, but I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing it because I enjoy trading, and hopefully I can help people get past their challenges. Now, if you're looking for specific strategies, etc., I'm not going to do that here. I think, go to OTA, go to some school for that. But a mentor is somebody who should guide you, help you understand the right path. And let me go back to my early day stories. You start playing cowboy, and the market will humble. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Don, I always say, if you want to, I'm one of those people that believes if you start talking about your winnings and gloating, like, oh, I'm making so much money, that's when the market's like, excuse me, were you boasting about it? And that's when the market just clobbers you and just annihilates you. So let me go to my experience. So when I started back in 1998, and when I say started, I was actually trading 2 years before that. But that was long-term investing, and I didn't have any mentor, if you will. It was just kind of talking to some people that were as clueless as I was. So I took what I learned in college, and I tried to apply it. I did okay, made a little money, but really not much. And what I found is I hate holding things long-term. I'm impatient. I need results. Boom, 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 boom. Then I got into day trading. I went to OTA I was in the June 1st class of 1998. Sat there for 1 month, and learned what I could, but again, I think I ignored a lot of it because I'm smarter than them. That was my attitude. Oh, I have a degree and these people are just stupid. I don't know. I was an idiot back then. So, yeah. Oh, you're a pro? Hold on. Hold my beer. Red day. You just loaded the boat long on call options? I'm crushing those. There goes your premium. So I remember my instructor would always walk around the floor, and de facto, he became my mentor. And it wasn't because he was my instructor, but he was just somebody that when I was having problems, I would ask him my questions. So, hey, what am I doing wrong here? And he would help me out. And that really started to help me. If you look at this path that the trading world leads you on, it's a path that goes in 360 degrees, right? It goes in any direction you want it to go. But my mentor was like, okay, what you're doing here is wrong, so let's cut off 50% of that market and focus on 180 now. So I've now eliminated 50% of the world that's crapped and bothers and pulls me back. And then every time I worked with him, it's like my focus got more refined and my rules got more structured and my plan got more focused. And next thing you know, you start to have a much clearer path to get to your end goal and destination. But it was really just a guy walking around a trading floor, and I would ask him questions every now and again. And one of the biggest ones I remember vividly was I went on what I call the downward spiral. If anybody knows this one, you've experienced it. It is, in my opinion, the worst thing that can happen to you in trading. I'm sorry, it sounds like there's somebody climbing up my fence over here. The downward spiral is this. The downward spiral is where you go to office, go to trade on a Monday and you lose, let's say your stop loss is $500 and you lose 500 that day. Damn it, I lost $500. And then you go in on a Tuesday and you're already pissed off because you lost 500 the day before and now you lose 600. It went to your stop loss a little bit past and you got out. Now you're like, God dang it, really pissing me off because now I'm down, $1,100 for 2 days and I really got to make it back. So on day 3, you start to trade a little bit more aggressively, bigger share size, boom. $800 loss. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm down $1,900. It's third day of the week. Maximum I should be down is $1,500. Now I'm down $1,800. Ugh. So Thursday comes around and you're like, all right, I got this. It's gonna be a good day. Feel it. Hype myself up. Woo! Walk in. But you start trading way out of your comfort zone because you want to make up for that $1,900 or $1,800 loss over the past 3 days. Boom, $2,000 loss. So now you're down $3,800 and it's Friday. And the thing is, it just keeps getting worse. And all of a sudden, your mindset, at least mine was, so for almost 2 weeks straight, I hit my stop loss. And I remember one of the last days I went, I think it was a Thursday, I went in and I'm walking through the trading floor. It's like 6:15 in the morning. And my mentor is walking towards the front door of the building. And he walks towards me and he's like, how you doing today, Merlin? I go, I'm great. Can't wait to see how much money I lose today. And he just grabs me by the shoulder. He goes, stop. He goes, you've already lost. What are you talking about? He says, you have already lost. By saying that, you've already, psychologically, you've thrown in the towel. You've surrendered. You've lost. He goes, so here's what I recommend you do. Give me $500. He says, what's your stop loss? This is $500. He says, give me $500. I'll give it back to you in 3 days, but go home, come back on Tuesday. So take Thursday off, take Friday off, all weekend, and come back on Tuesday. And just research, study, write down what you're doing wrong, write down your plan, be very introspective, be very rude to yourself, be like, you dummy, don't do that, here's how I fix it. And I did that. I went back, sat by the pool. I was here in Southern California. And I think that was probably one of the more defining pieces for me because it really made me realize I got to stick to my daily stop loss. And I know that losses are a part of the game. It's okay. But your mindset, if you let it go and you get to that point where all of a sudden you say, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm going to lose today probably, you already lost. Just give that money up. And to me, that's what a good mentor does. That guy didn't ask me for a penny, all right? He didn't say, hey, that advice I gave you last week, I'm going to keep that $500. Didn't do any of that. So, before you go out there and spend a ton of money trying to find somebody to, quote unquote, guide you or help you, just be part of a community. I think that's more important. I think that in this group right here, we've got a lot of people who are pretty good traders. I know from comments that have been made that some of you are doing very well. Yet you're still here. And there's some of you who are struggling. Well, that's like ask questions of the community. And if I can't answer it, quite often people in here do, right? Cool. Good. I'm glad you guys like that. Yeah, Thomasina, sometimes, we get repetitive. We cover topics again, but a lot of times it needs to be repeated. It needs to be heard over and over again, all right? Let's see. Good, Mimi. I'm glad you like it. Sometimes I screwed up so bad it's embarrassing to say anything. Oh, you know what, Karen? Those are the ones you need to talk about. If you guys have not noticed, I have told you about the worst trades I've ever made. I'm happy to do that because it's the worst trades that you've ever made are the ones you should never have made in the first place. So you know what? I'd rather tell you about those. Oh, here's how I screwed up and lost 6 figures on Bed Bath & Beyond. Right? Here's how I lost $15,000 on Cisco, violating 8 of my 10 trading rules in one day. Right? Those are painful lessons, but they're reminders to me of what not to do. They're the cornerstones of my discipline, and you all have your own that should be the cornerstone of your discipline, which is why I encourage everybody to write down their trading plan. And in there, part of your rules are going to be mapped by what you do wrong. Any mentors here? Don't now people are going to start selling their services. Oh, for $6 $600 an hour. So hard to stop trading when you're on a roll. Insane. Learning to stop while your head is hard. Yeah, I think that's actually fairly easy, Joe, in my opinion, is if you're on a roll and you got a big streak going, then just set a trailing stop. I do that all the time when I go, like Las Vegas, I am the king of just setting trailing stops on my profits. I was just in Aruba and I was playing some blackjack there and I got on a run. Started with $200. Next thing you know, I'm up 1,900. And I said, you know what? I have not lost a hand for like 10 hands in a row. And then so all of a sudden I said, you know what? If next hand I lose, I'm out. And it was a $300 max. Boom. I'm walking away. Done. Locking that profit. And your mind will always tell you, oh, I should have stayed there more. I should have stayed there longer. I could have made $5,000. No. Walk away with it. That's it. Oh, thanks, Doug. For $600 a session, I can show you how to maximize your losses. That's a good one, Daniel. I like that. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I got way too much to do. I got ready for a cryptocurrency class this evening, which can be a lot of fun. I guess I got to continue to do promotions. They've asked me to. So this is, again, for those of you in Las Vegas, I will be there giving a presentation on the 11th, talking about supercharging your portfolio with digital assets. And that's not intended to be, hey, let's just build a portfolio of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cryptos. No, it's augmenting. It's creating a hybrid structure in your portfolio that includes some digital assets, which can actually increase your rate of return more so than just holding cash, which is pretty interesting. Now, as far as announcements go, I didn't take time to do my little cheat sheet and bring up screenshots of it, so I'm just going to bring it up over here. You have tonight a rate announcement, which actually I was kind of surprised about. A week ago, the New Zealand Reserve Bank, New Zealand Central Bank, they were going to keep it at $1. Then all of a sudden, they decided the expectation now is 1.25%. That's going to happen here in just a few hours. So for anybody trading the Kiwi, that could create a lot of ripples out there. You also have some economic data coming out for the British pound at 11 p.m. tonight. That's going to include things like consumer price index, etc. Then you go down to tomorrow's session. It's a big day. Obviously, we went from 0.8 to 1.2 on the consumer price index numbers today, which is a nice pop up there in inflation data. PPI number, I think, is more important. So right now they're expecting it to jump to 1.1. If this jumps to 1.0, expect the markets to rally. All right. If the separation between PPI and CPI gets bigger, meaning the PPI is lower than consumer price index, that means businesses are going to have better profits and more profit margin for businesses. So keep your eye on that one tomorrow. That's going to be an hour before market opens. You also have the Bank of Canada making their rate statement tomorrow. They were also supposed to say the same. Now I'm hearing 25 basis point jump. So this is real quick about Face. They're looking at a 1% move tomorrow, or up to 1% tomorrow, and that's the big stuff out there. You also have unemployment claims coming out for Australia as well, so quite a bit. Cool. Did you catch Kathy Elon Chatine says that ETH to 150,000? Sure. But see, here's the thing, Christian. There's one thing they're not mentioning. There's a significant historical seasonality to cryptocurrencies. It's very clear. Again, that's my discussion for tonight, so I can't tell you guys. I want to save that for my class this evening, but there's a lot of factors. We could always make arguments that Ethereum's going to 150,000. I could make the argument that Ethereum's going to go to $500 if it doesn't go to proof of stake swiftly and without problems. And right now, there are some problems even on the new, what do they call it, the shadow beacon chain, which is they've already spotted some issues. They're trying to fix those things real quick. Well, we'll see how it all goes down the road. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to have Kate Irwin on the program tomorrow. It's pretty much going to be all digital assets. You want to know more about the metaverse? You want to know more about NFTs, non-fungible tokens? She's kind of the guru out there, which is awesome. I'm pretty excited to get her on the program. I should send a reminder because she may not make it. But hopefully we'll get Kate Irwin on the program tomorrow. If you guys have anything that you want me to cover, just put them down below the YouTube video. I was actually having some issue accessing my YouTube account, which is weird. I didn't get blocked, but something's not working on my end. So if you have questions, put them down below the YouTube video, or you can email me at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. That said, until tomorrow, I will see you guys. I hope you have a great trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.